Humble yourselves before the Lord, and He will lift you up. There is a quiet power in this invitation, an invitation to step down, to let go of the striving, the posturing, the endless proving of our worth. It feels counterintuitive, doesn't it? In a world that seems to reward self-promotion and loud declarations of success, humility feels like surrender. But here, we're reminded of a promise. When we release the need to elevate ourselves, God does what we cannot. Maybe you're carrying the weight of trying to be enough. Enough for your family, your job, your own expectations. Perhaps humility feels like defeat in the face of all that pressure. But what if it's not? What if it's the beginning of being lifted, gently, into a place where striving isn't the measure of your worth? Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. The words reach straight into the heart of so many unspoken tensions. The need to be seen, the pull to be recognized, the subtle comparisons we make without even realizing it. To value others above yourself. This isn't a call to diminish your own worth, but to release the need to stand taller than someone else. Imagine relationships shaped by this kind of humility. The colleague who resists the urge to take credit for themselves. The friend who listens without waiting for their turn to speak. The parent who sets aside their ego to truly hear their child. These are small acts, but they ripple outward. They create a world less fractured by pride. And yet, humility doesn't come easily. It feels vulnerable. But in that vulnerability, something profound can emerge. Deeper connections, a softer heart, a life less driven by comparison. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. There's a timing hidden in this verse, a sense of waiting, of trust. Humility here isn't passive. It's an active choice to surrender control to a hand far stronger than our own. Think of the seasons in life when you've tried to force something into being. A career breakthrough, a relationship repair, a dream you're chasing. The effort is exhausting, isn't it? And when it doesn't come together, there's a quiet ache of failure. But this verse whispers something different. It invites you to rest in the knowledge that the timing isn't yours to dictate. It's not easy to wait in due time. There's tension in that waiting. But humility, true humility, leans into trust. It lets go of the frantic grip on outcomes and allows God's hand to guide the lifting. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. The scene painted here is simple, yet profound. No list of grand achievements, no demand for perfection. Just three things: justice, mercy, and humility. It's a reminder that the most meaningful life isn't built on accolades or influence, but on the quiet integrity of how we treat others and how we walk with God. Walking humbly, it's such a gentle image. Not racing ahead, not dragging behind, but moving in step. How often do we rush through life with our own agendas, barely glancing at the path we're on? This verse calls us to slow down, to pay attention, to walk as though we're not the center of the journey. Justice and mercy flow from this kind of humility. They're born from an awareness that we are not above others, nor are we beneath them. They remind us that humility isn't weakness. It's the strength to live with open hands, ready to give and receive. Humility is the fear of the Lord. Its wages are riches and honor and life. The words seem paradoxical at first. Humility leading to riches and honor. It's not the kind of reward the world often associates with being humble. But the riches spoken of here aren't just material. They're deeper, more lasting. Humility opens the door to a life of richness in relationships, in peace, in purpose. When we approach life with reverence for God, aware of our place but also aware of His, a new kind of wealth emerges. It's the wealth of perspective, of being free from the constant chase for more. This kind of humility doesn't shrink us. It roots us. It anchors us in something greater than ourselves. And in that grounding, we find life. Not the hurried, restless life we often know, but the kind that feels full and steady. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Perhaps no words capture the upside-down nature of humility better than these. The world often teaches us to climb higher, to assert ourselves, to make sure we're noticed. But here we're told the opposite. To exalt ourselves is to climb a ladder that ultimately crumbles beneath us. Humbling ourselves, though, it's not about self-loathing or diminishing our value. It's about stepping off the ladder entirely. It's about finding solid ground in something that doesn't rely on our ability to perform or prove. And in that grounding, there's a surprising rising. Not the kind of exaltation that feeds the ego, but the kind that lifts the soul. A quiet rising, one that doesn't draw attention to itself but radiates peace. Humility, in all its forms, is a quiet strength. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't seek validation. Instead, it invites us to live with open hands. Hands that let go of pride, of striving, of fear. It's not always easy. There's a discomfort in stepping back and trusting that we don't have to push our way forward. But in that space of surrender, something beautiful happens. We find ourselves seen, valued, lifted, not by our own efforts, but by a grace far greater. And in that lifting, we begin to see others differently. No longer competitors, but companions. No longer rivals, but reflections of the same grace that meets us in our humility. Amen.